Hi, everybody. This is Brian Powers, usually Revolutionary Live. Being a little more professional with my introductions, I want to thank everybody who's tuning in and who's tuned in over the last couple of days. I took a little downtime after the Clark event. And to look back on the live streams, I thought there was some really good streams there, some really good speeches. I had some battery issues, so I apologize for that. And I guess I figured since I went to my old hometown to report about the Black Lives Matter event there, I would come to my current hometown of Woodbridge, New Jersey. Woodbridge is a township of 9 separate towns. I live not too far away from Parkway Press Park, where we are right now. Several hundred people gathered to listen to a ceremony that was opened by the mayor, who talks about a police dispatcher who was recently fired after making some racist Facebook comments, but also at the same time praising police and telling them about on their side. I was familiar with, not overly familiar with the organizing behind this, although I did not believe that we were going to see a very grassroots activist type scene here, and that is, in fact, not what I see. When I got here, the crowd had already assembled. So speeches were just starting. I listened to the mayor. I'm not going to be streaming the people that are coming up on stage right now because they don't seem to be representative of Black Lives Matter. So I know there's a lot of good intentioned people in the crowd right now. So I'm going to spend some time here in my hometown today talking to people. I will come up on the live stream throughout the day. I want to thank New Jersey Revolution Radio Studios in North Bonham's in the studio right now, working the desk. So we switch off today. I appreciate him, just minding the store while we cover this event today. But I'll be honest with you, waste all day here like I did in Clark. Clark seems to be a little more grassroots. This doesn't seem to be. This seems to be a little more isolated. So we'll see. Can we keep an eye on the situation? There's always surprises these days. We take a little walk around a little bit. Right now, everybody's kind of paying attention to the speakers. So I'm not going to draw away from that, but I will when I get a chance to talk to some people off on the side. So stay tuned to New Jersey Revolution Radio live streaming during the day from here in Woodbridge, New Jersey. And I'll wrap it up. I'll sign off when we're done. I'll let you know a recap, as well as don't forget to tune in this Wednesday. NJR Live is back in regular production. I messed it up. NJRR Live back in production starting 8 p.m. this Wednesday. King Mike and Christian Perez will be not in studio, but they will be on the stream with me. Plus, we're probably going to find a guest to talk about everything that's going on around the state, around the country, around the world. Black Lives Matter, right? We'll see you in a little bit. Hey everybody, Brian Powers, New Jersey Revolution Radio Live, and we're back. The mayor finished speaking. Some people around, so I'll just put my mask back on. The mayor finished speaking, and we've seen a lot of activists say, "Hey, there you go." You see the activists are speaking right now, so I figured time to turn on the live stream. And what I'll do is, it's not a very cramped crowd. As you get a little closer to the stage, I have been during these protests doing my best to mind my social distancing and stuff like that. But there's a really nice shot here of the crowd, and I'm going to get it from behind. I'm going to circle around the back. It's a big crowd. I wouldn't be surprised if there's 1,000 people here, and I'll let you all judge for yourself as I kind of walk around, do my little aerial shot thing here in Woodbridge, New Jersey, take in a speaker or two, and then, you know, we'll probably come back a little bit and do some interviews. I didn't talk to many people right now. I did walk around the crowd and take some pictures. Overall, it's a happy crowd. People are here as a celebration. There's some music. There's some great talk about Black culture and respecting Black life, not Black death, not paying attention to death, but paying attention to life. And I appreciated that speaker quite a bit. So I take you around. We'll see what we hear. It's been a little bit of a mixed bag so far as we open here in Woodbridge, New Jersey, Parker Press Park. There's still people filing in. The crowd is kind of still steadily growing a little bit. I got a lot of pictures of comrades with signs. So if you're one of the ones that I snapped a picture of you, stay tuned when I go home. We're going to put up a post wall of pictures. I got some great pictures. So there's some positive aspects here. Take you a walk around the back of the crowd here in Woodbridge, New Jersey. All right, let's listen in. Am I getting checked on? Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Nice little shot there. I'm going to put it back up. I forgot to put my wind cozy on, that's all. So I want to make sure that you're getting some good sound out there. Just give me a minute here. That wind's blowing. It's blowing today. That wind out of the sound. Come on, work with me. Sorry, Facebook. Live streaming audience.
First of all, I would like to thank everyone for coming out here today. I see a lot of familiar faces, so what's most important is that we're all coming out here, staying together, and saying no to racism, saying no to anti-blackness.
So it was nice.
Thank you for organizing.
Take a look. I'm pretty close to the stage.
I live in Avenue, New Jersey. I graduated from Performing Arts in 2017. I'm a third Michael senior at Harvard University. I'm a current rising senior where I study government and economics. So I'm a Black man first. You see, when I interact with the police, they don't see the former athlete. They don't see the former student council president. They don't see the current Ivy League student. What they see is a Black man. You know, I look around today. I look around America, and I see the protests for George Floyd. I see the protests for Breonna Taylor. I see the protests for Tony McDade. And it reminds me of when I was 11 years old, in the 7th grade, seeing what was happening to Trayvon Martin. Me, as an innocent 11-year-old boy, was seeing what could happen to someone who looked just like me, who had goals and aspirations, ambitions, just like me. And now look at me today, 20 years old, a rising senior in college, and I'm protesting the same thing that I was when I was 11 years old, and nothing's changed. This system is broken. It's broken, and it's broken here in Woodbridge too. Do not think we're immune to what's happening all across the country. See, here in Woodbridge, we spend $33 million a year on police. $33 million a year. To contextualize that number a little bit, that's a number that's been rising year after year, putting more police on the streets, increasing the chances that my next interaction with the police could be my last. You see, the mayor alluded to an incident that happened with a Woodbridge police officer where he made a racist remark. Those are the cops that are going to end up pulling me over. Those are the cops that I'm going to end up interacting with, and that scares me. It scares me. I'm often asked, what can we do to fight systemic racism? What can we do to change 400 years of oppression, to change a system that was never meant for us, to change all of this? And I wish I had some simple answers, but I'll give a start. First, go out and vote. I don't just mean going down the Democratic Party and pressing XXX to all the candidates. I don't just mean going down any party, wherever affiliation you have, and going down. I mean being a proactive voter. And what I mean by that is engaging your local politics. They are meant to serve you. Let them know how you feel. Not just on a national scale, but here in Woodbridge, here in the state of New Jersey, get involved. Let them know how you feel. See, that number I talked about, $33 million, that's at the hands of the mayor. That's at the hands of the councilmen, men and women. They are in charge of that number. If you're not okay with seeing that much money being spent on police, leading to more police on the street, increasing our risk of being the next name, being the next victim, let them know. Let them know. And if they don't do anything about it, vote them out. Vote them out. Simple. See, we like to look in the White House, we see a tyrant, we see a madman, but the truth of the matter is this system has been broken. Donald Trump is just a symptom to the problems that we've been facing. And you're running deeper than that. My next action item is to educate yourselves. Do what you can to understand the system that we're working against. As Charity alluded to, it's a system of white supremacy. Understand the layers that go into that system. It's deeper than just the police pulling us over. It's the same reason why today, when we're all out here with our masks, Black people are more likely to die from COVID. Me as a Black person, I'm fortunate and privileged enough to go to a good school, but that's not the reality for many other people. It's hard for us. And it's not just police brutality. So open up your eyes and see what's happening to Black brothers and sisters across the country. Find what role you need to play to dismantle the system. Because doing nothing is siding with the oppressor, and we can't have that. I'm tired of that. We're past that stage. And the last thing I'll leave you with is be an advocate. Don't just have conversations with people on social media, people you already agree with. Go out and about and have these difficult conversations. Being an advocate means not just talking to people who already agree with you, but going above and beyond. Sitting down with the mayor, sitting down with the councilman, sitting down with the people in power and privilege, and letting them know how you feel. Picking their brains. See, the reality is, we can have conversations at our dinner table, at our jobs, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. These conversations can lead to change. And the truth is, if they don't lead to change, if you're not getting the results you're seeing people being silent, complicit, turn the other way, let them go. We don't need them in our corner. Simple. As a Black man, I'm tired. It's a struggle not knowing what the next day will be like. Struggle a lot of you may not understand, but I'm asking you to listen to how I feel, to listen to how the Black brothers and sisters feel. Because we're at a critical point where I feel like something's about to change. And I need all of you, to be all hands on deck. Because at the end of the day, enough is enough. Say it with me. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Love y'all, man.
Good afternoon. My name is Igmat Ibrahim, a 2019 graduate of Woodbridge High School, who is currently attending Rutgers University and also pursuing. During my 4 years in high school, I used to find myself asking the questions: why am I always the only one of the few Black people in honors and AP classes? Am I smart enough to be in these classes? Do my peers see me as different? But most especially, why do I find it hard to connect with most non-Black people in my class? The truth to these questions was understanding not only the faults in our own education system, but systematic racism that heavily takes place in Woodbridge Township. When you place a stigma that students cannot excel in honors or AP classes, when you place the stigma that a person is not smart enough, when you place the stigma that someone is different because of the color of their skin, you, Woodbridge Township, are rather an associate to this injustice that every Black person faces in America. As I participated in the Paul Robeson Leadership Institute for 2 weeks at Rutgers University in the summer of 2019, I couldn't believe that every single Black or Latinx person in this leadership institution had taken and excels in honors and AP classes. As I heard stories of them achieving 4 or 5s on AP exams or receiving 15 plus credits, I wondered, where did Woodbridge High School go wrong? Where counselors, teachers, and administrators of Woodbridge Township failed to help my people of my skin color who wish to pursue post-secondary education, failed to encourage Black students to take honors in AP classes because they think they don't qualify. Other townships in New Jersey excelled. I stand here today, Woodbridge Township, and say, this can no longer be the norm. While you think you are doing us a favor, you are actually hurting our chances of receiving high SAT scores, hurting our ranks, and hurting our chances to be prepared for college because you commit and act to be racially biased. What we need is your encouragement. What we need is your support. And what we need is change. I came out of Rutgers University with various ideas in my head about how I can make an impact in this world, especially in my township. But this pandemic, police brutality, and lynching by white oppressors that currently took over mainstream media gave me the realization that we cannot make a difference in this world with only ideas in our minds. We need to carry it out with passion. These worldwide protests have taught me to ruffle the feathers and to not water down what I actually believe in. It is not my job to make people feel comfortable because I know that comfortableness by the privileged, the oppressor, and the unaware is the enemy of justice. Being uncomfortable allows us to advance and make a change, even when the race-related incidents are undermined by the people in power. It allows us to fight for what is right when they tell us our fight is over, and to speak when they say to be silent. That the opposite of weakness isn't strength. The opposite of weakness is justice. That the opposite of weakness isn't strength. The opposite of weakness is justice. That the quality of Woodbridge Township isn't reflected in how we treat the favored and the privileged, but how we treat the underrepresented and the disfavored. Woodbridge Township has taken more away from the Black and underprivileged students than it has the power to reward. But I know that each of us can ruffle the feathers and do the uncomfortable. We can make a change in this education system. As Paul Robeson once said, the answer to injustice is not to silence the critic, but to end the injustice. Thank you. Hello everyone, I'm Janice. I'm a current senior at Woodbridge High School, and this fall I will be attending Villanova as a nursing major. In my 4 years of high school, the biggest lesson I learned is how ignorant somebody could be. I sat in classes with teachers who couldn't tell the difference between me and my friends because we shared the same race. They apologized, justifying saying that we were always together, but they never mixed up the other kids of the other races. I've gone to the bathroom, signing out, looking for my past, just to realize that my teacher has put another name of another female in another block just because we shared the same race. Me being so disappointed, I sat myself down. One of the funniest instances I experienced was freshman year. My teacher would just write down all the Black girls in our class names on the past and waited for us to come up because he couldn't tell the difference between us. He known us as the 3 quiet Black girls who were in the back of the class. But why were we quiet? We were quiet because he failed to realize our differences. Whether we were African, Caribbean, or American, he told us it didn't matter that all our ancestors were slaves. For those who know me know how strong-willed I am and how opinionated I am. And I've always been the person to voice my thoughts. The last spring semester of my freshman year, I have never felt so belittled in my entire life. A teacher who badgered the Black girls in the class trying to prove to them that Trayvon Martin deserved to die. A teacher who joked about if Eric Gardner couldn't breathe, how was he able to speak? Mr. DeLuca never allowed us to defend ourselves. We would always bring up race despite what we were speaking about. And what did our classmates do besides the 2 other classmates that sat beside us? And I thank you guys for that. But nobody else stood up for us. They just fed into the things that he said. How can one be so insensitive and sit there and speak to young girls with so much hate and disrespect, as if we did something to bring this upon us? We are born with this race. We did not choose it. For Woodbridge High School to be such a diverse school, it has taught me that despite how many students you have from different backgrounds, they're bound to be mistreated by their ignorant and racist staff. Instead of teachers to educate their students for the better, they taught us it was only okay to judge each other as we wouldn't be punished for it. And for the teachers and students who have educated themselves and respected people for who they are, I thank you, but that is not enough. We are surrounded by those who have failed to acknowledge us and treat us with the respect that we deserve. In order to be a good teacher, you need to educate yourself on the students that you are teaching. You need to understand where they're coming from. You need to understand what they've been through. It is not enough, as some people still sit in silence today, not doing anything for a change. It does not matter what you think, you need to speak up. You cannot justify silence. It is not okay. You guys are just picking the side of the oppressor. So as we gather today, trying to make a difference for the better of not just us, but for the children of the future,
We need to understand that we need to make a change so they won't face history repeating itself as we are today. Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Cameron. I was a senior at Woodbridge High School and I will be going to Villanova University as a biology major. I grew up in England. In my elementary school, there were only 2 other Black girls in my grade. When I got to middle school, I knew the name of every Black person because there was such a small amount of us. Being the only Black girl in the room became the norm to me. I quickly learned that not only was Black history not taught in schools, but anything that had to do with race was quickly pushed under the rug. From my experience, many people in our community live thinking that they should be colorblind. Some people are afraid to talk about race because they don't want to create division. However, by ignoring the racial differences in the students, you then begin to ignore the voices of the people who are being oppressed. I will never forget what I experienced during my freshman year of high school in my G&T class. I was prepared to learn about and openly discuss mature topics such as political and social issues. However, because of my teacher, the discussions that took place in the WHS G&T classroom were completely one-sided and disheartening. On the first day, our teacher, Mr. DeLuca, told us that he wanted to work on our debating skills. There were only 4 Black kids in the class, and 3 of us were sitting next to each other when Mr. DeLuca came over and asked us our opinions on police brutality. He went on to explain how he doesn't think police brutality exists. He felt as though cops always have a justified reason as to why they end up killing. No matter how much I tried to explain, he would immediately shut them down. Whether I mentioned Trayvon Martin, Eric Garner, Sandra Bland, and many others that were just victimized because of the color of their skin, he would disagree. Eric Garner's last words were, "I can't breathe." Mr. DeLuca made the ignorant comment, if he couldn't breathe, then how could he talk? I wonder if Mr. DeLuca is saying the same thing about George Floyd. Every day in class, Mr. DeLuca would argue with me and other Black students on topics about the Black community. I began to dread going to class. It got to the point where I would no longer argue and I felt like my opinions didn't matter. He would repeatedly denounce the Black Lives Matter movement, and he constantly said that racism does not exist.
I think he's done.
One example of the racism and ignorance I've experienced in Woodbridge. It saddens me that this took place in 2017, and it is now 2020, and we still have not made any progress. People are having the same exact conversations that I had in that G&T classroom. As much as we would love to fantasize that we live in a world where everyone is treated equally no matter what they look like, and people from all backgrounds and neighborhoods have an equal chance of becoming successful, it is not the reality of America. I've gotten suspicious stares while shopping at a store, and I've been told that my hair looks so much prettier when it's straight. I've been told that because of the way I present myself, I don't act like a Black girl. These are just small inconveniences compared to other things Black people go through. However, they exemplify the ignorance in our community. We need to educate our community on acknowledging different races, the history of systemic racism, and how to be an ally of the Black community. If you say that you don't see color, it is because you are privileged enough to walk through life without having to think about how your race affects you.
Mic drop.
How can you tell Black students that racism doesn't exist when we are the ones that experience it almost every day? We would not be here at this protest if racism didn't exist. If you are not Black, you will truly never know what it is like to be a Black person in America. However, I ask that you listen to our voices so you can educate yourself and truly become part of this movement. I hope that this protest today will mark the beginning of a change in our community.
Stick my banner right here. How long is that?
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Trinity Easton, a senior graduate from Woodbridge High School, and I will be attending University of Pennsylvania in the fall.
Here in Woodbridge, New Jersey. Black Lives
First, I
Matter.
would like to sincerely
for
thank
the
Mayor
students.
McCormack and to those who organized this event. Thank you for providing us with a platform to allow us to speak out on the social injustice in this country. Like many of you guys gathered today here, I have questions on the values that America stands on. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance every day of school since kindergarten, at work, at big concerts and big games, and the line that sticks out to me the most is liberty and justice for all. But as we have seen in recent events and in the past decades in this country, that is not the case. And that is why the Black Lives Matter movement is essential during this pandemic. When I look into the crowd, I see what I admire most about Woodbridge Township, and that is the diversity. I see groups of individuals from all different backgrounds gathered here today to fight for the same cause. And that shows that we are moving in the right direction. It shows that people are beginning to realize that this is not just a Black and white issue, that this is an American issue. My skin color should not be a death sentence. My skin color does not define who I am as an individual. But in America, it unfairly does. Somehow, the darker you are, the more likely you are to be perceived as a thug, a threat to society, and your life seems to lose value in this country. People, racism is not inherited, it is taught. For example, when I was younger, this little boy in kindergarten came up to me and he asked me, "Why am I so Black?" Being that I was young myself and only in 5th grade, I responded, "Because God made me this way," and laughed and brushed it off. Now I doubt that that little boy had intentions of being offensive, and he may have not even fully understood the context of what he was saying. But as I grew older, I realized that this little boy was a product of his environment. He was being affected by colorism at a young age. It would have been different if he asked me, "What color am I?" or "Why am I brown?" because I myself am not the actual shade of Black. But the fact that he specifically asked me, "Why am I so Black?" shows that that had to be something that he learned from his environment. We need to fix the corrupt mindset in this country, and we could start by making changes in our own community. It is our responsibility, each of us, to teach ourselves and others on why we should be loving and accepting of all races, all cultures, and all religious backgrounds. As I look into the crowd today, I see a lot of young individuals, including myself. We are your future lawyers, doctors, judges, police officers, educators, congressmen, and so on. My message to us is, when we are in these positions of power, to remember to continue to use our voices to change the world. Remember that silence is compliance. And for all my fellow Black people and people of color, we must continue to glorify our culture, even when it may be intimidating because we hear of cases like George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and so many others. Be proud to be Black. I know I am. I love my skin color. I love my poofy hair. I love my intelligence. I love my athleticism. I love our music, our food, our fashion, and most importantly, I love the strength of our ancestors. In the famous words of Ben Brown, yeah, I am proud to be Black. Donald Trump has it all wrong. It's not let's make America great again, it's let's make America great, period. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. My name's Oslin, and I'm a senior at JFK. And this fall, I'll be attending Princeton University. I don't have too much to say because I do hate public speaking. But one thing I have to say is Woodbridge Township School District has to do better. From little microaggressions to blatant displays of racism, this township has failed Black students and other people of color way too often. I've heard too many stories of racist remarks going unpunished, and I didn't understand how or why until I saw it happen firsthand. Earlier this school year, I accompanied a friend of mine to guidance after she had heard a white student using the N-word and other racial slurs. Instead of the guidance counselor listening to what my friend had to say, she told us she didn't have time for us. This type of dismissive behavior from people who are supposed to be a source of support for students is absolutely unacceptable. To you, it may not be a big deal, but for students who are strong enough to speak up about racism they've experienced, your dismissiveness is traumatizing, and I promise we don't forget it. Black Lives Matter is not just a hashtag. This is not Black Lives Matter Spirit Week. This is a lifestyle. And while it's great that we're all here today, it is so important that this district works harder on listening to its Black students and other students of color when they speak up about racism, instead of making our experiences seem trivial. Stop enabling racism and start addressing it correctly. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I just want to say thank you to everybody that came out today. My name is Anthony Collymore. I was in Woodbridge Township my entire life. I went to school 18, Island Middle School, and then I graduated from John F. Kennedy Memorial High School, spring 2017. There's a lot of teachers that have come under scrutiny today, and we keep talking about teaching and educating, so I just want to talk about my experience with that. I would like to thank Mr. Todd Call. Yeah, Mr. Todd Call. Oh wait, let me first say this. I'm a proud Black man, but I'm also an openly gay man. When I was a student at JFK, I was an athlete. I played a lot of different sports. And one of the coaches made a comment and said, gay people can't do this sport. We're not going to do that today. We're going to be positive. So I want to thank Mr. Todd Call who allowed me to come into his history classroom every single day and talk about my experience as a Black man. He didn't care how uncomfortable I made people. He didn't care how hard the conversation got. And he let me do it every single day. I would also like to thank Christine Scott, who allowed a bunch of different people, lesbian, gay, Muslim, brown people, Black people, whoever, to come into her choir room every single day and sing beautiful music that touched our soul and stayed with us forever. This township has to do better, and we have to highlight and uplift the teachers who have been doing better already. Being a Black gay man, it's hard to see other people scrutinized for being Black, for being gay, for whatever, and it needs to change. We have to do more. You have to there's someone, an innocent Black man was killed on the Parkway, around the same time as George Floyd, and nobody's talking about it because George Floyd died. Another Black man died at the same time, and it's happening, and nobody's talking about it because another death got too much attention. That's tragic. The same exact time in our state, but it got overlooked because there was a more malicious death at the same time. That's a problem, and you should all know about it. And since this is our state and it happened here, I just want to take a second and give a moment of silence to Maurice Gordon Jr., who died on the New Jersey State Parkway. So everyone bow their head. Black people, you know what it's about. I want to say one last thing, and I'm going to give it up to the wonderful people that organized this for us. We talk about teaching and education. We need more Black teachers. We need more brown teachers. We need more qualified teachers. And we need people to get out of the system if you don't care about our children. They are the future. It's so important that these kids have people that support them and uplift them every single day. And the teachers that have been doing it, put them on a pedestal and tell the other teachers to show them what to do because they've been doing it. There are teachers there that care. Give them the platform to do it. Thank you, guys.
Good afternoon. I want to commend the young people for organizing a rally that is long overdue. I want to also thank them for allowing an old geezer like me
So we're just gonna walk on
to
back
be
and get
part
a shot of the crowd
of your program.
Shut it down. Do some interviews.
I hear the pain, and I've experienced the pain. I've seen your disappointments, and I love your zeal. But we do need allies, because the last time I checked, we all have been made in the image of God. Every young person that spoke here today, I feel you. But realize there are also some other ways. I had written down some things, but I had to put them down. And I want you to hear where I'm coming from. I was born in North Carolina. I went to a segregated school. When we got new books, it was books from the state school. I was told I could not go to college. My uncle Never and Bowser had to flee Lillington, North Carolina, because their life was in jeopardy because they dared to speak back to someone who belonged in the KKK. So I feel your pain. The only way they could come back and see their mother or their father, they had to sneak in the middle of the night and then sneak out before anybody knew that they were there because their life was on jeopardy. And so now I could easily talk about the injustices of society. I think you young people have already covered it. But there is a solution. And just like you have rage and anger today, the solution is in your hand. I'll tell you how. I'm speaking from experience now. In 1997, the First Baptist Church wanted to buy some property over in C1, and people told me that they would not let us go. I got a group of lawyers together and I said, we need to expand, and there is some property that I think we need to go, but people said they don't want us over there. You talk about being rejected? And so we bid on the building. We had to go to the zoning board, and they told us we could not buy the building. We live in America, and they said we could not buy the building. As a matter of fact, some of the officers of the church were criticizing me because they were saying, you know what, you're spending all the money on attorneys, and we won't have no more money to buy the property or to make investment into the property for the renovations. Racism. We had to go to court. And thank God that there were people in the court that overruled the zoning board. But you know what happened then? We were still getting opposition, not because of what we were trying to do, but based upon our color. But now here, young people, is the difference. The mayor's office, they called me up. They said, how can we help you? It was the McGreevy administration. You know, one of the key players in the McGreevy administration. All right, so that's enough of that. Mr. Jonathan. He would come by and say anything that we can do. Not only that, but I say you need it. I have never the mayor's office.
Biggest load of horse shit I've ever heard. Oh my God. Oh. How you doing? I need a break from that bullshit. That mayor's one of the most racist mayors in the whole history of the goddamn country, and he's up there acting like he did him a fucking favor. Holy shit. That mayor's turned his back. How are you? I'm Brian. live in a second. There we are, and we're on the show live back in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I'm filtering out. I got a little caught in the crowd. I was trying to social distance, and I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. The crowd is filtering out right now. As I said, a lot of people thank the mayor. I'm very confused, seeing as the mayor's had a number of my friends locked in jail for simply trying to talk to him. It is what it is. I'll address that more on our show on Wednesday night. But as you can hear, there's a march going on, so we're gonna get some shots in the march. Right now I'm in the march. Didn't mean for that to happen, but you know, hey, I'm gonna go with it. Let's take a look ahead here. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. These are really good shots for that coming at you shot that I like to get. So I'm gonna set up my tripod. Black Lives Matter. And I'm gonna let it happen. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Here we go. Covering stuff going on around the state. Check this out. There you go. Thank you.
No, thank you. The Black Lives Matter.
They do, sir. Absolutely.
Oh,
Thank you very much. Check us out. Got pictures and video. Yeah. Oh, what's going on around the state? I need them. Oh, I did not see that. Watch out! Watch out! Watch out the camera! Watch the camera! I almost walked right.
Chrissy.
Oh, Wes.
Oh. Jail him!
It's the other eye.
You did?
Yeah.
Black lives matter, bro. Gay lives matter too. Gay lives matter. Sup? I can't breathe. Come on now. Oh yeah. Oh shoot! I don't think I'm. Oh, upside down. Look at me.
Oh, they got the fire. Oh, wait.
I know. I see it. Get on here. Hello?
Don't lie to us, don't lie. Yeah. Yo, my man. Get going on the fucking you.
Oh, you do? That's why you left her?
Get the hell out of here. I don't believe
I'm gonna look. Not my stuff.
We are more alike than we are. I don't want to be perfect for me. On camera.
Oh, I'm gonna be in that. Sorry. Yeah, that was a little. Not ask. No. That's a very unisex name.
Oh man.
It's great to see.
Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Thank you. All right, everybody. So that's New Jersey Revolution Radio now. I don't know if you heard me talking in the background. Maybe you did, but I was I'm now at the tail end of the march, so they let the park out. Like, so there's a lot. I mean, actually 1,000 people, and I did bring a lot of New Jersey Revolution Radio flyers, leaflets, and stuff like that. I'm here today solo, so I went old school, and I saw a moment there. they bottlenecked the entire rally into basically what amounted to, you can see in front of you, about a 5-person wide sidewalk, and on the right hand side you see the train station and the railway. And on the left-hand side, you see some shrubs and stuff now. I don't really know where the march is going, so I'm going to break off a little bit here. But what I did was I put myself right in that bottleneck, and I just started handing out flyers. You'll have to excuse me while I try to, gain the interest, pay the bills. But I literally just, I think in that few minutes of that stream while we were watching people walk out, I must have given out 1,000 flyers. I mean, it really was quite a bit. So I'm excited about that. Hippies, we activists get excited when you hand out flyers. It's the whole thing. Wish I had more. I actually gave out everyone I had, and I could have given out more too. So anyway, we are at the tail end of the Black Lives Matter march here in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I'm going to try to do what I can to outpace the crowd a little bit here. I'm looking for a garbage can right now to get rid of this water bottle that I picked up, and I'm regretting picking up now. So I'm just going to put it in my pocket and spritz my hand with spray. Let's take a look at the march here, and this is what I'm seeing right now. All right, and that is Main Street up there. So I'm gonna walk alongside the crowd. I'm gonna try and stay on the outside. Usually the police will let me kind of stay a little bit. If you've got a camera and I've got a little bit of identifier here, the cops will let me take a little bit. You can see they've definitely got like pretty well organized and stuff. You would think they would take the blue line out the middle of the street before they had a Black Lives Matter march, but they're not that bright here in Woodbridge. So just a hint, if your town is going to have a Black Lives Matter march, you take the blue fucking line off the middle of your street. You do that first. And if you're watching on the live stream right now, I'd like to remind all of you. So maybe they'll come back next week and do that. We'll see. Everybody makes mistakes, right? Give me a second. So I'm walking double time here, trying to get you a little bit of an idea of the size of the crowd. Don't hear a lot of chanting, but we're at the back, and you can see it starts to get really thick. And you're starting to hear the chanting now as you get to the front there. You'll hear the chanting. And I'm hoping to actually, the way I'm looking, I may be able to catch up to the front. I'm not sure where this march is heading. I really don't know. So I'm going to bust into a little bit of a jog here because I really like that shot. Really not a lot of police. It's nice to see. Thank you for not being too many of you. Appreciate that. There you go. See how nice I am to cops sometimes? Not always doing that. Just when they're being dicks. So I just sprinted a good half of the march. I didn't quite make it to the front. You can see when it's stretched out, it's just another gigantic march in the state of New Jersey. I would cut down a side street to see if I can get the head of the march, but I don't know if I can make it even doing that. I think they're just walking around the corner. And they've been dumping around this corner for a few minutes, so basically I'm just going to get as much up to the head as I can. Bust out more on this shot. I like this shot. Let's try this. So you saw before when I turned to look forward on the crowd, but give me a minute here. I'll turn back and you'll see another shot of the crowd coming towards you. And if you're familiar with Woodbridge, I'm between Green Streets and Main Street right now. And they've been going around the corner of Green Street for at least 4 or 5 minutes, and I'm not there yet. So. don't think I'm gonna make the front of the march. I tried. But I really love this green, red, and black march.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Yo, stop this racism, man. Stop this racism. We can do it.
No peace.
No
Police.
No peace.
No peace. Police. No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace. I got it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right on.
I know that guy. Call me, bro. We got work to do.
You would not do that shit.
George Floyd. George Floyd. Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor. Breonna Taylor.
Now! Justice! Now! Matter! 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 Matter!
Don't shoot! 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 Don't shoot!
Now!
No peace! No justice! No peace! No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice!
No peace!
No justice! No justice!
No peace!
All right, good exchange of service. Sit, brother. How are your friends?
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! George Floyd! No peace! No peace! No peace! Floyd! Floyd! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace! No peace!
Love it.
It's violent! It's violent! It's violent!
Not even know it was good.
Oh, I think his license plate is awesome.
Yeah. No.
Offering. Offering.
So that's about the tail end of the march there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep string. I'm gonna walk up for a little bit here. We'll get a few more shots, and I'll see if we can recap. You know, overall, it was almost exactly what I had expected. It was pretty controlled. A lot of thanking of the mayor, speakers. Never really found. I didn't dig into who was the actual organizer, though. A couple people did give the mayor and police credit for something or other. I'm not sure why anybody would do that, but hey, it's my town, and if they want to pretend like the mayor does something about racism, sure, they can do that. You know, what really moved me and why I think I'm really glad I came out today to cover this event was the speakers from the high school, especially the teacher, Deloach, that was named repeatedly by the students. And, you know, my kids go to some of those high schools. I'm not sure if that teacher happens to be at the high school that my kids have gone to, but I have one that's graduated and one that is currently in a high school here. And you know, I can tell you that you know, I actually, it was just a couple of weeks ago that I went to a high school football game. We were playing Carteret, and the kids were flying a Trump flag at the game. When I kind of asked, like I tried, I didn't know what to do. Like I didn't like seeing, and they were waving this Trump 2020 Make America Great Again flag at Carteret High School. A lot of African American players on both sides. I mean, you know, Woodbridge is, despite its flaws, is a pretty diverse place. And you know, it's just one of those things where even though, you know, so many different kinds of people live here, there's still just a ton of ingrained racism. And you heard that, and some very moving speeches from, I believe it was 4 or 5 young women. And I'm really glad I got to stream, you know, that entire thing, because, you know, that was definitely worth the stream. Other than that, a lot of congratulations for elected officials, a lot of pats on the back for, you know, quite frankly, people who I know behind the scenes have been completely complicit in building a racist structure here in Woodbridge. And I think we'll talk more about that in the live stream on Wednesday night. I'll be back live streaming Wednesday nights as we record our podcast, NJR Live. But right now, I'm seeing some people off to the side. People are drifting off and going back to their cars. So what I'm going to do is I'm maybe trying to somebody and say, hi, would you be interested in talking to me on the live stream? Sure, call step over here. So I've got somebody with me, and I never know what I'm going to get, but I have a good feeling about this one. So we're live right now on New Jersey Revolution Radio. My name is Brian Powers. And what's your name?
Landon.
And why are you here today?
Here because I'm angry.
About what? Well, I mean, obviously, is there anything, let me ask you a better question than that. Like, was there a specific trigger moment in the past that had led up to this? Have you been angry or?
No, so I think right now I'm just seeing the momentum and the movement itself. I couldn't not come out. You know, like I feel like there's opportunity for change that didn't exist before. So if I can be here and help support in whatever way I can, then I'm going to be here.
Have you been an activist before or ever gotten involved in anything
Not
before?
to this extent. Yeah, so I think during 2016 election time frame, I got involved in a couple like anti-Trump movements, but there wasn't much we could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but this is different. I feel like we can actually change something.
Yeah. What do you want to have changed?
Primarily just change people's minds. It's not even because it's so much bigger than a particular policy or a group of people. It's not just the cops. It's the way this country is built upon. Like it's been hundreds of years that it's been the same thing over and over.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. I appreciate a little bit of your time. I'm out of flyers, but here's my card. So check out the website. You'll be on there later. The Facebook page is streaming. Nice to meet you. All right. So somebody that's been involved a little bit in the past, we got a chance to talk to them. And we'll walk around a little more. And again, people are parking. We aren't quite at the tail end of or the end of the march. I'm at the tail end of the march, but we haven't wound up back in the place where most people are parked and such. But what I will try to do again is, you know, try not to disturb events and stuff like that, either by taking pictures or, you know, doing interviews and stuff. But what I'm going to try to do is maybe when you see these little clusters of people off to the side, have a little conversation about why they're out here today. Let's see, we got a little group of people here. Hi, would anybody be interested in talking to me on the live stream about why they're out here today? Would anybody be interested in talking to me on the live stream about why you're out here today? Let's just step back over here. How you doing? So my name is Brian. I'm with New Jersey Revolution Radio. How you doing, Brian? Right, and you are?
My name is Kurt Hamilton.
Kurt Hamilton, nice to meet you. All right. Kurt, what brings you out here today?
Today is for the cause that with police brutality and protect my family, really.
Yeah.
Because my daughter wanted to come. I've been in other protests. I've seen what cops do. And I don't believe that the cops and the mayor should be running a protest against something that they stand.
I did hear a few speakers up there give some credit to the mayor, and I mean, what do you think about that? When you hear them thank the mayor for the stage and stuff.
If they think this mayor doing, I would thank the mayor when the bill is passed. There's a bill for them to stop doing it or have other police officers be able to stop them from doing stuff like that. Like with George Floyd, there was three other police officers there, and none of them said, "Hey, get off this man, he's in cuffs," or nothing. They all sat on.
Exactly. Well, thank you for your time. And you want to talk on the live stream, sir?
I want to comment on what you said.
Yeah. I'm gonna move. I gotta catch up to my my friends there. All right?
Shut up and listen.
I gotta catch up to the remarks, man. All right. Have a nice day. So the gentleman that wanted to jump in on that conversation didn't appear to be very sober or to be ready to engage in civil discourse. I'm not here to make trouble today. There is no trouble. I mean, honestly, like, you know, people have criticized me for agitating cops and shit like that. Take a look at the streams where I'm yelling at cops. It's when they're acting like dicks. But I'm not here to engage in conversation with a drunk idiot who's going to argue with a black man about being discriminated against, because I can feel that one coming a mile away. See if we can get another interview in here. Oh, there's lots. So I'm coming up on the parking again, and there's lots of people congregating back up in the park. So we'll grab a couple more interviews before we call it a day. How's that sound? Let's see how these people. Catching up to them. Put my mask back on. We're gonna close to the crowd again. So you can see I'm coming back up on the park here. I'm gonna stand outside here. I don't really feel like getting penned in again with this. Hello. Would you like to talk on the live stream real quick about why you're here today? All right, come on, let's step over here out of the way a little bit. So my name is Brian. I'm with New Jersey Revolution Radio, and you are?
Hi, I'm Monique Davis. I live in Woodbridge Township with my granddaughter Mariah.
Hi.
We're here to represent Black Lives Matter. We have also suffered a loss in our family due to white supremacy. And we're here to represent and let everyone know that we're here for equality. And we want everybody to have the same opportunities as everyone else.
When you say you lost a loved one, you mean somebody who was killed by police?
They were killed by a group of white Walden teenagers, Yusuf Hawkins. That's his name. Hear his name twice, Yusuf Hawkins. So we're here to represent all the blacks that have lost their lives due to racism or police brutality.
All right, thank you so much for coming out here today. We appreciate you being here. Thank you. It's nice meeting you. So not just, you know, obviously people here, not just about police murder, but about racism and racist murders in general. You know, the white supremacy takes on all kinds of horrible forms. And while I admit I personally focus on a lot of police brutality and stuff in my activism, definitely don't want to ignore the cries for other forms of justice. Let's see if maybe some people other want to talk to us here. Hello. Anybody like to talk on the live stream real quick about today?
Oh, me?
No. Anyone?
I'm
live streaming right now for an independent media network. If you want to take a few minutes and tell us why you're here today, just step right over here. I'll come right around. You're right where you are. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. Bring your sign.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. We're gonna find some signs here. There it is. There it is. Beautiful.
Yes.
All right. So my name is Brian, and I'm with New Jersey Revolution Radio. We do grassroots interviews. So,
Okay.
And you are?
My name is Kiana.
Kiana?
And I'm Lorena.
Lorena? And what brings you out here today?
We are out here in unity and solidarity of our Black brothers and sisters in the fight for justice. We want justice, and we want it now. We want to be treated equally. We want to be treated fairly with love, kindness, and support. That's all we want.
What was your
I'm out here on behalf of Black teachers.
Yes.
Okay, I am a Black teacher myself, and I teach
sure
Black
that's
students. As you see here in my sign, you cannot teach Black children and be silent about the injustices against them. You know, as a Black educator, I see, you know, what happens in the school system with our Black children. And it starts with having more Black educators. Recruiting and retaining more Black educators is the key.
Thank you very much. And why did you come out here today in particular?
I came out here because I am a mother of two black sons and I am tired. I've been marching ever since Trayvon Martin, and now I'm marching again because the same thing is happening. And I want to tackle systematic racism. It's systemic and it has to change. We have to reroute and reroute the system. And it starts with us. And I believe that the future is in our children's hands, and I believe change is going to come. And I'm here to support them, and I'm here to make sure that that change happens. It has to urgently, expeditiously, it has to change now.
What did you think about what was said today? I know I thought the high school kids were beautiful, and I loved every one of them. But some of the politicians in the speakers, what did you think about what they had to say about changing and reforming things?
I don't think they said enough. I definitely don't think Mayor McCormick said enough in regards to acknowledging the Black lives and the injustices that go on, the brutality that goes on in the police system, even right here in Woodbridge. So there needs to be conversation, there needs to be laws in place, and we need change, we need more.
Thank you very much for taking the time today. I ran out of flyers, but that's where you can find us online. We're on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all that. It's very nice meeting you. A couple of really great people. It's always good to run into people like, you know, with that kind of specialty, right? So we have a teacher there that not only understands, you know, racism in general, but, you know, racism as it relates to education. And, you know, we have had, and I know that in front of the Board of Education here in Woodbridge, it has been talked about the Amistad curriculum. But, you know, like most other things, it gets ignored and, you know, it hasn't really been instituted. And I remember that came up a long time ago. So there's been things in our past that we should have addressed and we're not addressing. But, you know, it is what it is. Here, we are here today. We are trying to make a difference. But we'll see, because I know I wasn't convinced by my mayor. And I'm glad to hear a few of my fellow citizens were not convinced today, but it doesn't mean there aren't positive things happening in Woodbridge, New Jersey today. Let's take a look at the march kind of filters back in to the park where it started.
Michael Lorenzo, Eric Reason, Christopher Nicholas, Stephen, Christopher Lobster, Asiana Jefferson, Maurice Holly, Jordan Michael Griffin, Nicholas Walker, Benny Branch, Brian Williams, Arthur Walton Jr., Tanara Tom T, Patricia Phoebe, Stephen Murray, Brian Tyler, Dominique Clayton, Isaiah Lewis, Kevin Leroy, Julius Grace, Marcus McVeigh, Margaret Scott, Rashard Hassan, Kevin Bruce Mason, Mario Clark, Jimmy Addison, Derek Griffin, George Robinson, Andre Horton, Jesse Jesus Quinton, McClone Edward Summer, Charles D. Roundtree, Chinwood Valentine Okoki, Antoine G. Black Jr., Daryl Richard, Botham Shem G., James Leatherwood, Joshua Wayne Harvey, Christopher Alexander Okamadu, Cynthia Fields, Rashawn Washington, Anthony Marcel Green, Antoine Michael Rose, Robert Lawrence White, Marcus David L. Peters, Karen Carlton, Juan Marquis Jones, Danny Ray Thomas, Stephen Clark, Trey Taquan Pringle Jr., Sr., Ronald Foster, Corey Mobley, Arthur McKay, Geraldine Townsend, Warren Rochester, Thomas Yaskin, Dennis Bowden, Jean Pettigrew, Tina O'Neill, Lawrence Hawkins, Calvin Kelly, Juby Lister, Armando Frigg, Stephen Gale, William Matthew Holmes, Anthony Antonio Ford, Charles David Robinson, Devon Howell, Herbert Gilbert, Thomas Williams, Darius Clark, Antonio Garcia Jr., Ryan Easley, Erie Lee Martin, Dewan Early, Aaron Bailey, Joshua Terrell Crawford, Mark Brandon Davis, Adam Trammell, Jimmy Montel Sanders, DeRocco Devontae Colton, Mark Rashawn Simon, Shaquille S. Brown, Jordan Edwards, Roderick Taylor, Kenneth Johnson, Christopher Wade, Altria Wood, Sarita Davis, Lorenzo Antoine Cruz, Chance David Baker, Reynard Burton, Honey Derek King, Chad Robertson, Jerome Keith Allen, Nana Adokma, Marquez Ward, DeAndre Phillips, Sabine Marcus Jones, Darius M. Bartel, J.R. Williams, Mohammed Abdul Muhammad, Jamal Roberts, Marlon Lewis, Richie Lee Harvey, Lamont Perry, Roy Lee Richard, Alfredo Olongo, Tawan Boyd, Terrence Crutcher, Tyree King, Livonia Riggins, Kendrick Brown, Fennell Thompson Jr., Dalvin Holland, Delron Small, Sherman Evans, Daravius Rogers, Antoine Trumper, Ollie Lee Brooks, Michael Eugene Wilson Jr., Burnell Bain Jr., Jesse Williams, Arthur R. Williams, Lionel Gibson, Charlin Charles, Kevin Hicks, Dominique Silva, Robert Detmon, Cynthia M. Beatty, Tori Lamar Rogan, Peter William Dean, Artier Porter, Keontae Deshawn Spencer, Christopher J. Davis, Thomas Lake, Paul Gaston, Kaylin Devontae Rockmore, Dyson Perkins, David Joseph, Wendell Celestine, Antoine Scott, Peter John, Keith Hauser, Betty Jones, Kevin Matthews, Michael Noel, Leroy Browning, Miguel Espinol, Nathaniel Pickett, Cornelo Brown, Sierra Thomas, Richard Perkins, Tamar Clark, Alonzo Smith, Anthony Ashford, Dominic Hudson, Lamonte Jones, Rashawn Cole, Patterson Brown Jr., Junior Prosper, Keith Harrison McLeod, Wayne Wheeler, Levante Biggs, India Caesar, James Carney III, Felix Kumai, Mansour Bell Bay, Ashma Manley, Christian Taylor, Troy Robertson, Brian Day, Samuel Dubois, Darius Stewart, Albert Davis, Salvador Ellswood, George Mann, Freddie Blue, Jonathan. Victor Melissa III, Spencer McKinney, Kevin McRae, Chris Jackson, Kelly Stevens, Rock Anthony, Richard Gregory Davis, Angelo Reyes Solomon, Sahan Green, Brendan Williams, Reginald L. Moore Sr., David Fields, William Chapman, Norman Cooper, Daryl Lawrence Brown, Walter Scott, Eric Courtney Hayes, Donald Ivy, Philip White, Jason Williams, Denver Brown, Brandon Jones, S. Colorado, Bobby Jones, Terrence Monson, Anthony Hill, Tony Terrell Robinson, Achilles Vinton, Charlie and Bill Thomas, Deonta L. Dorsey, Thomas Alfred, Calvin Avery, Terrence Price, LeBron Holmes, Natasha McKinnon, Garrett Smith, Tiana Evans, Artavia Ramos, Arthur Little, Leslie Saxon, Brianna Pickett, Brooke David Andre Scott, Dennis Richie, Janae Brisson, Eric Year, Akai Gurley, Jarvis Thomas, Keisha N. Anderson, Raphael Thomas, John T. Wilson III, Aldrin Saunders, Michael Ricardo Myers, Adam Arnett Madison, Von Derek Hughes Myers Jr., Aretha Blue, Valentine Smith, Rashana Davis, Marvin S. Scott, Oliver Garrett Williams, Steve Williams, Cameron Tillman, D'Angelo Griffin, Darian Davis, Nathaniel Hunt, Cortez Washington, Veronica Woodward, Arbel Douglas Williams, Levon Leroy Love, Corey LeVert Penn, Dante Tucker, Azeel Ford, Justin T. Glover, Michael Brown, John H. Crawford III, Jeremy Lake, Cedric Stanley, Corey Calhoun, Briston McDuffie, Eric Barney, Charles K. Goodrich, Christopher Jones, Jeremy Brown, Levon King, Quan Jones, Emmanuel D. Mark Anthony Blocker, Martez Dwayne McGee, Tommy J. Gates Jr., Jonathan Lee Asuki, Howard Wallace Rose Jr., Dominique Franklin Jr., George B. King, Justin Griffin, Tyrone Davis, Gregory Lewis County Jr., Vicarious Smith, Keandre Lloyd Stark, Rudy Neal Hardy, Howard Clinton, Floyd Stephen Hobbs, Keon Johnson, Beth Smith, Ernest Satterwhite, Anthony Barton, William James Smith, Vincent Jarvis Johnson, Jordan Baker, Jeffrey Williams, Kendall Alexander, Tamarian Lamar Lamb, Irvin Edwards, Willie James Williams, Abdul Kamal, William Alfred Harvey III, William Taylor, Brandon Devon Smith, Reginald Williams Jr., Jack Lamar Grover, Elijah Glenn, Alexander Lamar Marley, Jonathan A. Farrell, Marlon Horton, Ronnie Lenzama Jr., Montrell Moss, Jeffrey D. Little Jr., Jermaine McGee, Alan Smith, Ryan Nelson, Larry G. Jackson Jr., Janelle Simmons, Roman Hayes, Tyron West, Darren Blair, Antonio Johnson, George Harvey, Margaret Anthony Steve, John McMorris, Yoshi L. Hayes, Bill Jackson, Ian Johnson, Terry West, Jermaine Darden, Marlo Brown, Kendra Day, Deion Club, Quentin Armstrong, Fred Bradford, Craig Dennis, Tyson Peters, Dylan Samuel Peters, Russell Middleton Smith, William T. Jacob Jr., Vincent Rocker Allen, Harley Baker Jr., Anthony Dwayne Harris, Jonathan Thomas, Caitlin Benjamin, Quentin Barstow, Jeffrey Chapman, Terrell Davis, Xavier Tyrell Johnson, Yolanda Thomas, Nina Pop, Cody Davis, Yanni Taylor, George Taylor. I said this while we were over there, but I also want to remind you that 50% of the people that are dying of cancer are disabled individuals. We need to be fighting for them too. We need to remember that as people who are able, they're not disabled. They're disabled to do people differently. We treat them as people. So we need to remember how they are at it fighting for them too. They had a disabled Black Lives Matter march yesterday, where people were fighting Black Lives Matter. Black people with disabilities. It's important. We need to advocate. It's not about us for able to students, for people who have those types of disabilities, we need to be working towards that.
So that's the end, and a shout out to anti-imperialism at the end. That was very nice. Always good to see that kind of political awareness amongst people. So that wrapped it up. Let's see, we have a few more people. Do one more interview on the way out here, huh? Time to go home. Time to call it a day. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. But let's have union guys. Somebody want to come on the live stream and talk to me about why you're here today? You guys got a union rep present, or you just come by yourself? Come on over here, man. Where are you from? I'm from New Jersey Revolution Radio. My name is Brian Powers. So we stream from activist events all over the state and stuff like that.
I'm not really prepared for this, so just bear with me.
That's okay, man. What's your name?
Eddie.
Eddie, and I see you got some union colors on there today. Is this your local out here today, or is this just a group of guys from the local?
No, we represent the Painters Union of New Jersey, the IUPAC.
Good to see you, man. Good to see you. And what brought you guys here today?
We're here today to support the cause because we believe that Black Lives Matter, and we want to stand with the Black community because police brutality and social injustice got to stop in this country.
Appreciate it. And you want to come on, man? Okay, all right, man. So there was a bunch of guys here with the yellow colors on there. Thanks for coming out today. We appreciate it. IUPAT. It's nice to see unions. For those of you that don't know, I was canned by CWA because they're a bunch of racist douchebags. If you ever want to wonder. Fuck Teddy Rosenstein.
Yeah, all right.
I actually know the one guy that wouldn't come on camera. I should know. He's a really good guy. So that was that. I mean, a really kind of just standard kind of rally event. There was really no tension in the crowd, no conflict with police, nothing really, out of the ordinary. It's the community getting together. Again, I think the highlight definitely for me was watching the high school students, the young women speak, who recently graduated, about their experiences with racist teachers. I personally witnessed racism in that high school when my kids went there, so it's good to know that some of this is coming to light and some of that fear of exposing the racism here in Woodbridge and in other communities where racism is prevalent is good. The blue line is still down the middle of the street here in Woodbridge, and there's still plenty to be had, but I will say that, just like with the Clark rally in my original hometown out here in my current hometown of Woodbridge, New Jersey, it's nice to see a lot of people come out and say Black Lives Matter, at least. So I'm just going to get an exit shot here real quick as people pour out of the park. But that's it for me today. It's time to go home, have a smoke, have a drink, eat a good Sunday meal with my family, and take it. Do you know? Wednesday night, 8 p.m. NJRR Live with me, special guest host Kim Light, Christian Perez, and I know we're going to have some Black Lives Matter activists on the show. So check us out. Set your alerts, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitter, or whether it's Facebook. Set your alerts so you can catch our shows. Wine, Women, and Revolution, State of the Revolution, New Jersey Revolution Radio. Thanks a lot, Facebook. See you soon.